And for my vegetarian friends, I've had a bunch of requests to do some vegetarian dishes. It's kind of hard for me to do. I do enjoy my meat, but you know, it is a healthier way to eat, and I realize that, and actually I'm trying to transition a little bit more in that direction. Sometimes I'm doing it with success, sometimes I'm not, but it is a transition. I'm trying. You want to start, if you're going to, this is what we're going to use first of all, by the way. Brown jasmine rice. This is really good. It's whole grain, so it's not stripped of all the goodness. You'll want to use the whole grain rice. And quinoa, the ancient grain. So we're going to mix those two together, and it's going to make a really nice little flavor. It's a very nutty flavor to the quinoa, and the quinoa, it acts as a filler, and it kind of binds everything together. So we have we're going to use, well, this is going to be a smaller portion for me, but a half a cup of the jasmine rice and a quarter of the cup of the quinoa. The rice takes a little bit longer, so you can pop that in first. But anyway, we're going to start with a vegetable base. Once again, I often start with a chicken or a beef base, but no need. We're doing this for our vegetarian friends and trying to stay healthy. So we'll start off with an onion, and you want to halve the onion. And if you have it again, almost go all the way through, and then you can just fan it out. This is a thick onion. And then you can slowly, so you don't take your finger off, chop it up into little cubes. You want to dice this fairly fine so that it kind of mixes in well with the rice. And these onions are going to go down to, you know what, let me use a bigger knife. That little knife doesn't seem to cut the mustard, or cut anything for that fact. So anyway, the onion is going to go down to nothing. Once you saute, it almost caramelizes it. It goes from, you know, a nice big fat onion like this to just probably about like a quarter cup of onions once you're done, and you caramelize it nicely. So this is going to be perfect. We also have red bell pepper. Ooh, this is going to add a nice little color to it and a sweetness as well. I already cored it. So you can chop this up as fine as you want, or you can quarter it. I always start by basically making it into little strips like this, and this is what I used for my shish kebab. I put it into strips like this in my basket so it would cook nicely, but I think I'm going to cut that up a little bit thicker. You can keep it nice and chunky once again for just to add the dimension of color and chunkiness and flavor. And after that, I'm going to add some mushrooms as well. I put mushrooms in everything if you didn't notice, but first we're going to do onion and parsnip. Parsnip is in the onion, in the carrot family, and this actually caramelizes really nicely. I'm going to put it on the stove with some extra virgin olive oil, not butter, because we're keeping this vegetarian, and I'm going to allow the onion and the parsnip to caramelize really nicely for the base. I'm going to add the rest of the vegetables after, as well as the rice. So let's start working on that now. Alright, we're ready to cook. We're going to start, like I said, with the extra virgin olive oil. And how much? Depends on how much you're going to make, but I'm going to put a couple of teaspoons in there. And next we'll go in the parsnips. Those, when you keep that on the stove long enough on a low fire, it gets to the point where it can taste sweeter than something that's actually you put sugar in the dish. So next will be our onions, in the same category for that. You know, you saute these long enough, and that's also going to give it a tremendous sweetness, natural sweetness. All right, let's throw on the stove, and that's going to be at about a medium heat, so we can get that going. Let me mix this up a little bit over here. Guess what else I'm going to throw in? Some of those herbs. That's right. I've got my lemon balm. I'm going to throw a few pieces of that in. It can be rough. That's fine. And then we're going to have the orange mint. I'm just going to tear off a few little pieces of that. Throw that in, as well as the oregano. Wow, you should smell this. It is so fragrant. I literally picked it minutes ago. Alright, that is just going to stay on for a little while. I'm also going to add, this is a secret. Remember that marinade we just made? Well, before I put the meat in it, I reserved some. I'm going to throw that in too. Okay, let's get that cooked for a while, and after that sauteed, oh wait a minute, we do want to put in our mushrooms in our sweet bell pepper, but we'll do that later because this needs to caramelize. Okay, we are caramelized. Went down to nothing, as you can see. Well, not nothing, but considerably so. That is perfect. Okay, now we're going to add some of those other vegetables, which were namely mushrooms, and I left them whole, by the way, for the visual, and also the sweet red peppers. Next thing we want to add is a little bit of water. Now, the water should be about double of the rice. So I put in about 1.5 to 2 cups of water, and I put in my rice as well as the quinoa. We're going to mix that up. And remember, this is not an exact science. When you're cooking, you're going to have to add here and there and to do certain things. So now I'm going to increase the temperature. I had it on medium to low for a while there. I brought it up to medium high. And we're going to let that sit for a while. So this dish, though it is a rice dish, it's actually a vegetable rice dish. Okay, we're going to let that cover and let it sit for a while until things start to fluff up. It's going to be on for about half an hour. The rice dish just came out, and it's still a little steaming over here. It came out perfect. It's got a great stock that was made with our vegetables. Our parsnips got really nice and sweet. The Vidalia onion, of course, is sweet, especially when you caramelized it in the extra virgin olive oil. Got the sweet red pepper, the mushrooms, the champignons, and it's a meal in itself. You could have this as a full meal, or you could have it as a side dish, depending on if it's lunchtime or if you don't feel like having much. We have our other grilled option over here for the meat lovers. I'm in that category. I'm once again trying to have more vegetables. Anyway, so it came out perfectly. It's got a little glaze to it because of the brown sugar and the maple syrup when you put it onto the grill, and that sweetness with the savory is amazing. And then I also grilled our sweet pepper as well as mushrooms, and that in itself is just an incredible combination. I infused the garden herbs as well. Get a little garden going somewhere, even in a planter's box. Put some whatever herbs really call out to you. They're all easy, especially perennials. Lemon balm. You got oregano over here, which is practically a weed. You don't do anything with it. And the orange mint it's a bigger weed actually. That one takes over. But I have the rosemary. I've got just about everything. It doesn't have to be your standard recipe. If you're going by something that's very strict, French cooking, where it asks for rosemary or basil or something, play around, try other things. That's how Nouvelle Cuisine was born. It really changed things around. It was very strict, the French cooking, up until a certain time in France where they decided to experiment outside, and that's when they found that there were other possibilities in cooking. So it works for me. Let's see. Oh yeah, let's not forget the hot pepper that I put in there too. I like that, so that gave it a really nice little shot. So experiment around. This is good, easy summertime cooking. It really couldn't get any easier. I had one dish that I really used on the stove to cook. That's easy. And then cooking on the grill, I used the basket and the skewers. That's pretty easy too. So anyway, enjoy summertime cooking. It's absolutely delicious fun. Get outside, get some fresh air, and start that herb garden.